As a deer hunter, I want to know all I can about America's favorite big game animal. That's why I became a deer farmer. Without deer farms, we lose our greatest resource for research and whitetail management. With them, we gain more knowledge than ever before. Join me as we discover the truth about whitetails and meet those who work every day to preserve this great species for future generations. My name is Keith Warren, and this is Deer and Wildlife Stories. Hey girls, how y'all doing? You gotta be loving the weather. I am. I know 2 weeks ago they weren't loving the weather out here, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Keith Warren, and this is Manvel, Texas. Just outside of Houston, where 2 weeks ago, Hurricane Harvey slammed into the coast, and I mean, put a hurting on everybody. On today's program, we're at Tajada Whitetails, and we're gonna introduce you to some really tough deer.
My name is George Tunall. I'm the owner of Tajada Whitetails. I'm located in Manvel, Texas. Manvel, Texas is just a little bit south of Houston, about 19 miles directly south on 288. We've been deer farming about 5 years. We have a little over 20 acres under pen. We have about 450 total, counting fawns, and about 130 adult bucks and about 120 adult does, somewhere like that, and about 180 fawns at this time, somewhere in that number.
This is my second time to visit Tajada Whitetails. I was here about a year ago, and at that time I fell in love with a buck by the name of Gunslinger. Gunslinger is, well, he's the kind of deer that I dream about. He's got everything that I would ever want in a deer. He's got the look, he's got beam, spread, tine length. He's got a great disposition, and he's got a great pedigree. And as I come here this year, I want to tell you right now that this is going to be a struggle for me personally, because it's like, how do you put 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bag? And what I mean by that is George has got so much of a story to tell here that I don't know how we're going to get it done in a half-hour show. We're going to show you a lot of big deer on today's program. But George is involved in so many big deer throughout the industry now that aren't even on this farm, that we're gonna have to break away from here and tell you about some of these other deer because they are magnificent. And what he's doing, he's bringing in the biggest deer from across the country to combine all those genetics and all those pedigrees to produce them right here at Tajada Whitetails. I cannot believe it. All these are yearlings, right?
All of them except for Jesse James.
Well, I can tell Jesse's over there. He's got his antlers cut off. We got some video of Jesse a couple of weeks ago before they cut his antlers off. Tell us how big he was and why you cut him off.
A little over 400 inches, and we cut him off because he had some damage, but had a broken drop tine. And since he's a breeder, we said, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and cut him off because it's not like we're marketing him anymore anyway. Jesse's already kind of made his mark in the industry.
Yeah, Jesse is an unbelievable deer, and so he's out here with all these yearlings, and so you really don't even notice Jesse because he doesn't have his headgear anymore. What we'll wind up doing, George has got Jesse's antlers in the freezer. The reason why is because they were full of blood, and we'll wind up showing those antlers to you here in just a little bit. But these yearlings, I'm looking at them, I am blown away. Folks, yearlings, okay, there's one right there, Orange 50. I mean, look at that. Tell me about Orange 50.
Well, he's got a look.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a look. He's 23 wide, roughly, somewhere around 26 inch beams, going to score in the mid 300s as a yearling. And he's an Epicenter son. Epicenter is Earthquake's womb brother, which Earthquake, was a phenom to say the least.
Yep.
I mean, whenever he came out on high roller whitetails,
yep.
But he died before they ever got to draw semen on him.
So he's a descendant of that.
Yes, he is a direct son of Earthquake's womb brother.
Wow, wow. Okay, well, I'm looking out here, and I mean, he really is a standout, but you've got some other standouts in here as well. Point some out and tell me about them.
That one there is Orange 27. And that's one of those deer that just has really good look, has great pedigree. Of course, we breed for pedigree, so most of them do have a good pedigree. Has a great pedigree, long tines. Still has 40 inches of mass, but he's a yearling. He's gonna get even bigger. He's probably 240 inches. We're actually partnered with that deer with Charlene Long from Long Ranch.
Yeah.
And so, really, really nice lady to deal with. In fact, she was a partner with us on High Noon as well. But one thing that makes that deer unique is that he's a Triple Crown over Kid Rock, and then the pedigree just doesn't stop. If you go to Secret Weapon, you go to Gladiator, Wilderness Bucky, Sudden Impact, he's kind of got it all.
Okay, what we're gonna do, I want to stop you there. We're going to show you the pedigree so you can see exactly what he's talking about. And we're going to tell you later on, we're going to tell you about, there's one thing that George is doing. He's only been breeding deer for 5 years. You can take a look at this. There's one word, I'm going to don't say it right now. One word as a piece of advice is how he does all this. And the next thing is I want you to tell everybody about partners. I mean, partnerships, Charlene Long is a partner on that deer right there.
Right.
Tell people, deer are expensive. Somebody wants to become a partner, what do?
Well, basically, they call us up. In fact, I have a gentleman flying in this week that wants to partner on number 50. And we're going to sit down and talk about it. And basically, the reason for that is there's two people marketing. You got to get the deer out there. You got to get him bred. First of all, he needs to look like what he looks like. Then he needs to produce. To produce, you got to get him bred.
Okay, so if somebody wants more information about becoming a partner in deer, just coming out here to Tajada Whitetails in general, what do they need to do? Just give me a call at 832-622-2571, or they can email me at george.tunal@deerguardian.com. And this is just one pen of 1-year-olds that we're looking at. And how many other 1-year-olds you have? We've got 2 more pens to look at. All right, let's go look at them. That sounds like a good idea. Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you by Record Rack Deer and Elk Feeds, the North American Deer Farmers Association, Advanced Deer Genetics, Beem Fence Company, New Dart, Divine Genetics, North American Deer Registry, Protect the Harvest, Headgear LLC, Newport Laboratories, Superior Milk Replacer, and Dr. Ray Favero's Whitetail Genetics. Viewer feedback is presented by Protect the Harvest, Protect the Hunt. This one's from a viewer by the name of Derek. He says he watches Deer and Wildlife Stories on our website. As a deer hunter, I'm assuming you get hammered by deer hunters that don't like deer farming. How do you cope with the negativity? Keep up the great shows. I learned something from each episode. Derek, the way that I keep up with negativity, I guess, is that I always look at it as I love deer. I absolutely love deer. And I don't discriminate. I love deer no matter where they live. High fence, low fence, no fence, public land, private land. I love deer. And so as long as I focus on doing what's best for deer first, and then people after that, I think I can defend myself no matter what. So I love deer. And I appreciate that question. If y'all are watching online and you've got a question, go ahead and post it below and I'll get right back with you. If you're not watching online, I want to encourage you, go to my website like Derek did and watch our shows. Derek, thanks for the question. It is hard for me to believe that 2 weeks ago this was underwater the way it was, so unreal.
Well, I tell you what, it's really dried out, and we're excited that it has dried out finally, that's for sure.
That's pretty. Let's go see some big bucks.
We got nice grass, that's for sure.
Yeah, you don't have any problem with grass.
No problem with grass growing this year at all.
All right, what makes these deer so special is that they're certified. Tell everybody what certified deer means.
Basically what it means that, well, this particular herd has 10-year plus certification. It means been in animal health, and so these deer can actually move across borders. If a state is accepting deer like Ohio and you have all your testing done, you can actually ship these out of state.
And these are yearlings?
These are yearlings.
Tell me about the best ones.
Well, the best pedigreed one in here is really outstanding, and we were really proud to have him, but he was about 2 weeks in the growing season and he hung his head up in the fence. Actually pulled his horns off his head. I didn't think he'd regrow this year. He did. He's still 200 and something inches. He's a little tilted, as you see.
Yeah.
But he's about 230, 240. Hopefully next year he'll get the spread I think he should. A couple of the others in here you see right at 200, a little over that 200 mark. They're good long beams. Most of them have 6, 7 points a side or more. And like I said, you know, there are a lot of guys that have gone to certified since the CWD. The problem they're having is in some places getting really good genetics and really good cover buck. So we're fortunate that we have some really good ones. Now keep in mind, when these yearlings that you're looking at today will be 2-year-olds next year. And they have the framework to be some really, really outstanding deer.
Well, and so if somebody was living in a state that was open to bringing in certified deer from Texas, these deer would qualify?
Yes, these deer would qualify.
All right, give them a phone number.
832-622-2571.
I'll tell you the reason why people do not do the certification is because literally it is a royal pain in order to do it. And you've been doing it, you've got 10-year certification, so my hat's off to you. I mean, there's not many people in the state of Texas that got certified herd. And what you need to understand, that this is a separate part of his program right here, completely separate from the other pins. So certified deer.
Yeah, there's a gap between this set of pins and our other set of pins by state, by law, and we're actually double the width that it has to be. And we make sure that we handle these deer totally separate. They're never mixed with any other deer. So there's a lot of regulations, but once you get a herd like this, it kind of opens another avenue.
Yes, it does. And not only do you have bucks like this, you've got lots of does like this too.
Oh yeah, so we got lots of them.
The bucks that you're looking at here now, these beautiful, big, yearling certified bucks, they got certified does too.
Yes, most definitely. It was great pedigrees.
Closed captioning provided by Keith Warren's Texas Hidden Springs Ranch. Now it's time for the Beem Fence Minute.
I'm Mark Beem from Beem Fence Company. Today I'd like to talk to you about how I build a corner and a gate post for game fence. When I build a corner or put in a gate, I like to use a little bit bigger post. Today I'm going to be using some 3-inch posts. They're going to be 14 foot 6 inches long, and I'm going to drive them 6 foot in the ground. I'm going to put a slight angle on them so when I pull the wire, it'll pull them a little bit straight. If I were to put the post in straight and pull the wire, I'm going to bend the post off center. We put a little bit of angle on it and try to balance it up so it's square when we're done pulling the wire. If you'd like more information about my company, you can go to beamfence.com.
The fawns behind me are getting real hungry, so we're gonna go inside, make some bottles, and come back out to feed them. All right, so y'all may be wondering why I have these on my feet. It's that way we don't transmit germs to other fawn pins whenever they're little. How are y'all today, huh? How are y'all? I know, you're so hungry. Come here, Rocky.
So this is the same pen that King Max was in last year.
Yes, same exact pin.
And these are 2-year-olds.
These are 2-year-olds, yeah. We roll our yearlings here and let them grow out as 2 every year.
All right, I want to talk about King Max for a second. We just filmed him at Tajada Whitetails, and tell people why other deer breeders buy deer instead of buying semen.
Well, what happens, you have to have something to cover your deer, because a good conception rate, 75–80%, you're gonna have some that miss. Plus, you wanna have a buck that you can promote, a buck that's on your place to help your program, that you're not having to buy semen every time.
Okay, so tell me about some of these 2-year-olds, because you've got a pen full of them.
Well, Blue 18 we're actually gonna cover with this year. That's the big one with the big forks. On the back, 15+ inch tines, probably gonna finish in the 16 somewhere. He's probably gonna miss 30 inches, probably gonna be right at that 29-inch mark, but he's gonna have 30-inch beams. Still has a lot of growing to do. Then when you look at Blue 22, walking right there past him, he has if you look at his left side, he's absolutely perfect. He's 5 tines going up, has a lot of kickers and forks off of him. His right side, he would have been as well, 33–34-inch deer, but the problem is he scraped the food trough whenever he just started growing. We were actually gonna cut him because he was bleeding real bad, broke the velvet. That's what made those drop tines. He's actually a clean deer. But again, that's another deer that he's 2-year-old, gonna be 33–34 inches wide, going to be 360 inches, all up tines. If it wasn't for that little damage on his right, just a really good looking deer, something that the industry wants.
Okay, so hold on. These other deer in here, most of them are going to be sold then, right?
Yeah, most of them. In fact, they all are sold.
Okay, tell them why they put them out in the pasture. It's for breeding.
Well, it's to better their genetics. I mean, the problem is that you can go in here and you can cull and you can manage, and it takes years and years and years, and somebody gets killed just about time they're ready to breed. You know, another buck sticks him. Here you get the best genetics, you know what's on their paper, and you put them right in your pasture and you transfer those genetics to your herd.
Okay, so these bucks right here are mostly sold. You got a couple of them you're going to use as backup breeders. Okay, but if somebody, like by the time this show runs, next year, folks, the bucks you're looking at right now, these bucks out here, I mean, you're going to have better 2-year-olds next year.
Well, yeah, if you look at, earlier in this tape, the yearlings.
Yep.
If you go back and look at last year's yearlings, our yearlings this year are probably an average of 30 to 40 points larger. And it's just because we're deeper into the pedigree. So I assure you, these 2-year-olds you're looking at, that the next year's 2-year-olds are going to be quite a bit bigger.
Okay, give them a phone number so they can call you and make a plan to come on out.
All right, it's 832-622-2571. And you can email me at george.tunal@deerguardian.com.
If you're ready to get started in deer farming, go to deerandwildlifestories.com and click the Get Started Deer Farming tab.
It's really fun being able to deer farm because my wife enjoys doing it with me. I've loved to hunt, I love the outdoors, and she loves them as well. Maybe not to the extent of roughing it, but when it comes to deer farming, she loves to watch the baby, she loves to watch the deer grow, she loves to watch the does. There's no part of it that she doesn't like. So every night she's been out here with me, my little girl's been out here with me, and not that they had to be, but they truly wanted to be.
All right, I know that I'm going to probably get in trouble from some people in the deer industry for doing this, but out of all the deer that I've seen in the country, last year and this year, I want to show you my favorite, and he's right there. And his name is Gunslinger, and he's absolutely beautiful. And tell everybody how old he is now.
He's 5 years old this year, and we breed him pretty hard.
Yeah, and you can actually tell from looking at him, he's not like he looked last year, but he's still got that same beautiful frame, the same tine lengths. And the thing that I like about him is that he's kept it now year after year. We can show you footage of him from when he was a 3-year-old, for example. And when he was 3, you could tell that he was destined for greatness. And then we can show you when we were right here last year, when Gunslinger was 4 years old. And then now at 5 years old, but and he has regressed a little bit. But as a deer breeder, I mean, you've got to really kind of question how hard do you want to breed them. That deer is worth a lot of money, and breeding that deer will result in lots of money in your pocket. And so you've got to make a decision on what you're going to do with him, right? Yeah,
sometimes, I mean, you have to make decisions you don't want to. And that is that you breed him a little heavy, you have really good does. And if you'd have been at the auctions the other day, and you were at them there at DBC and TDA as well in Texas, he had the highest consistent lots there. And he didn't have 1 or 2. He had 20-something lots between those 2 sales. You would think that may overpopulate, a particular genetic, but everybody was after him. So when you look at that, you say, hey, James Butler made the comment to me. He said that deer never has to grow another horn in his life. He said he's already done what he needs to do. He's proved that he's going to do it year and year again. At 2, he was big. At 3, he was a giant. At 4, he was an absolute monster. At 5, you can see again, he's still 33 inches wide, 33-inch beams, long tines. He's just proven that he's going to do it year after year.
Okay, so I got to ask the question, is he for sale?
Well, if he was for sale, he sure wouldn't be on sale, I can tell you that. But it would take a whole lot to get him out from underneath me. Between him and Jesse James, they are Tajada Whitetails.
Well, Tajada Whitetails in 5 short years has come to a place that a lot of deer farms haven't reached ever, and it's from a strategy that just is really based upon one word, and that one word, George has said it several times in the show, is pedigree. It's all about pedigree. And when you have the right pedigree, they're worth a lot of money. And if you take a look at Gunslinger, I think you'll understand how Gunslinger is my favorite buck. George, good job.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Appreciate
All right,
it.
if somebody wants more information on coming to Tajada Whitetails, give them a phone number.
832-622-2571.
And I want to throw something out here. Okay, this is, we're right now, first week of September. We're 2 weeks past Hurricane Harvey that devastated the Texas coast. It didn't devastate Tajada Whitetails. Tajada Whitetails is alive and well. The Tunal family is out here working every day to make sure these deer are nice and healthy. You've got a wonderful team set up. And if you want more information, to come on out here and see my favorite buck, give George Tunal a call. Again, thanks, George.
Thank you, Keith.
I love him. He's awesome.
I kind of like him myself.
I sit here and I'm supposed to be doing an interview. And I mean, the lighting is perfect. It's like, hurry up, get this done. And I'm looking out there and I see my boy. There he is. And that's Gunslinger. And it's just hard for me to keep my eyes off of him. I know some people like looking at beautiful sunsets, and some people like looking at beautiful cars, and some people like looking at beautiful donuts. And anyway, I like looking at Gunslinger. To me, he's just beautiful, and I cannot get enough of him.